Hi, I'm Mr. Dyer from Mr. Dyer's Musings, and today we're going to be taking a look at whistles. As always, I'd like to thank my wife and family for their unconditional support. I'd like to thank my students for always pushing me to be better, thank my scouts for the same reason. I thank you guys, my viewers and my subscribers, because without you guys, we wouldn't have a channel. We just keep growing. I appreciate it. Please continue sharing the videos, continue liking them, and continue commenting on them. I love the interaction when it happens. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. And I'd like to thank my patrons on Patreon who support me in a financial way, support our channel in a financial way. And I've got some great news. I'm in communications with a couple of the state parks here in Ohio. And this summer, we are going to be moving forward with taking the show on the road and talking to professional historians and archaeologists, bringing some really unique artifacts to the show. And I'm really excited about it. And we wouldn't be going in this direction. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for the patrons on Patreon. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. So today we're going to be talking about whistles and scouting specifically. Okay. And I have a pretty nice collection of Boy Scout whistles that I was fortunate enough to pick up. And it was someone else's collection. They had it all at once, and I got it for a good deal. And I really enjoy them, and I'm even wearing one of them for my uniform. Before we get started on looking at the artifacts, let's take a moment and discuss the importance of the whistle. Okay. Now, as I've said in my other videos, and I'm sure you probably already know, just from putting things together, if you know anything about scouting, is that at one point scouting in the military did have a deeper relationship because Baden-Powell, our founder, he was in the British military. In the United States, there was this idea, and same thing with all the world, all the countries of the world, if we can build up young men specifically with these skills, then once they get into basic training to do military national service, then they would already be partially trained for that job. So it's very beneficial, and there's a relationship there, okay? So let's just kind of get that out of the way. The equipment that the scouts use tend to mirror that of the military. Even today, scouts use surplus military items, but there's really not so much that relationship that once was in the early 20th century. So if you're thinking about getting your kids in scout, don't worry. You're not going to be marching up and down the lane, doing drills and things like that. It's not like that at all. But I just want to acknowledge that relationship in early 20th century scouting. Okay, so the whistle is extremely important as a signaling device and as a safety instrument. Even today in scouting, it's encouraged, and even in Cub Scouts, that you have the 6 essentials. And one of the 6 essentials is a whistle. So if you get lost, then you can whistle and hopefully be found. It's a lot less wind, it's a lot less energy to whistle every once in a while to signal than it is to scream at your top of your lungs or swing a stick against a tree to try and make some knocking noises. You know, a whistle is just really, really useful in that regard. I was on a winter hike with my troop a couple weekends ago, and a small group of the troop and a part of the patrol and their buddies, they started breaking up a little bit of a distance. So the patrol leader, who was in charge, he used his whistle to call up ahead of the scouts. He tried shouting, and that didn't work, but the scouts in front ahead heard the whistle and they knew to stop. Okay, so there's that. And we're going to go more into the signaling aspect in the early Boy Scout manuals. Okay, so you have the safety aspect of it. You also have the signaling aspect of it. Let's talk about the signals for just a moment. In both my older handbooks that I have here, the scouts are encouraged to learn whistle signals. That way they communicate with each other, because tracking was a big part of early scouting, but also in just general maintenance of camp life, hiking life, even at a troop meeting. Okay, officials today use whistles in sports programs, so it still has a very practical use. Now, in this manual here, this is the 1921 manual that I have. It goes into the same exact whistles that that was used in the later book that we have here. So bring it up. Okay, on page 281, and this was my 1921 handbook. On page 281, one long blast means silence, attention, look out for my next signal. Also used in approaching a station. Two short blasts means all right. A succession of long, slow blasts means go out, get further away, or advance, extend, scatter. A succession of short, sharp blasts means rally, come together, close in. 3 short blasts followed by 1 long one from the scoutmaster calls up the patrol leaders. Leaders come here. 3 long blasts means danger, alarm, look out. A succession of alternating long and sharp blasts means mess call or grub. Any whistle signal should be instantly obeyed at the double as fast as you can, no matter what other job you may be doing at the time. And I'm actually encouraging my troop members and my patrol leader to start practicing with this and memorizing it. Because, like I said, at that last hike, I think my patrol leader especially really saw the value of being able to communicate at a distance when the boys need to stop or when they need to come in, etc. When you're at a camp and you have scouts that's off playing football or tag or whatever, and you have some scouts that's in the camp itself, either doing the cooking, the prepping, or what have you, it's just really nice to have that understood signal of what is expected of the scouts. So it's not in any of the modern Boy Scout handbooks. It's something that's kind of went away. I'm bringing it back because I like it. My patrol leader really likes it. So that's what we're doing. So let's take a look at the artifacts themselves. I have with me a early 1910s to 1920s whistle. Now, I honestly don't know when this particular whistle got issued out, and I don't know when it was stopped being issued or produced for the Boy Scouts of America, because the oldest catalog that I personally own is in 1920, and this whistle that I'm getting ready to show you it was not advertised in the catalog. It's this whistle here. It's very similar to the Scoutmaster's whistle in shape and in form. It's brass. It's a tube whistle. Right here. See, I don't know if the camera will catch it exactly, but it says the Acme Boy Scouts. And I don't know if that's RO number 540164. It says patent below. And that's it. There's no Scout first class logo or anything like that. It's just that. It's a very shrill whistle. I mean, it's moderately in weight. It's not super thin. It's not going to get dinged up or banged around too bad. There's a few nicks here and there, but that's it. I have it hanging from my white lanyard. You can see. This next whistle is the one that you see in the catalog in the 1920s up through the 1930s. It's this style. Like so, okay? Again, it has a little ring. It's movable up top. This one does have the fleur-de-lis, the Scout logo on it. On the opposite side, it says the Boy Scouts of America. There. Okay. Another tube whistle. The other whistle that was issued in the 1920s and the 1930s was called the Scoutmaster's whistle. And this is kind of considered a deluxe whistle. It's this one here. Notice the ring is fixed. It is not loose like that one. Okay, it's a fixed ring. It's nickel plated. It looks really pretty, right? And it does not have a Boy Scout fleur-de-lis on it, but it does say and stamped the Acme Scoutmaster, made in England. Okay. I wear that one. Now, interestingly, the Scoutmaster's whistle is not as shrill as either of these two whistles. And that kind of surprised me. I would have thought that the Scoutmaster's whistle would have been the loudest one, the highest pitch, but that's just honestly not the case. The other whistles that I have are more contemporary whistle. The whistle I'm going to show you next was issued in the late 1930s and into the 1940s. And again, I don't know when they stopped issuing this particular whistle. It's a nice, big, fat whistle. It's just a simple, you can even see the Scout logo there. There's no manufacturer on it. It does have a little cork ball in it that you can see there. And this is big. This is heavier than the tube whistle. Yeah, this right here is a lot heavier than the other whistles. This one, I would argue, is louder than the other 3 tube whistles. Okay, so there's that. And the other whistles that were given to me in the collection are not actually official Scout whistles, but I thought I would show them, just for sake. There are 2 metal whistles, and again, to show you size comparison, look at that. That one, and there's that one. These ones are a lot lighter. This one being the lightest out of all 3 of those. This one says the Thunderer. Now you do see these advertised, made in England, in other catalogs that associate with the Boy Scouts of America. It's just not particularly marketed by the Boy Scouts of America for Boy Scouts. Same thing with this one. This is the Acme Thunderer, made in England. You can see some of the nickel plating coming off. It's brass underneath. And notice the shape too. I think that was kind of interesting. The shape is very different. And I do have a plastic one, and I let my one of my sons use it for a hike, and that one would have been issued in the it's plastic, so I think it's the 1960s and 70s is when those were issued. It's pretty much the same size as this one, and it had a little ball in it, because that's how these types of whistles function. And that's it. I mean, that's what I've got for whistles. I thought that was kind of interesting. Scouts were encouraged to carry a whistle on a lanyard, and they'd wear them. And a lot of pictures that you see of historical scouts, you'll see them wearing a lanyard. They're expected to have the whistle for emergency use, to help direct traffic, for parade use, for field use that's in the handbook, for camping, hiking, etc. So it's just a very useful item, and even today our contemporary scouts are encouraged to take a whistle with them for the exact same purposes, to get attention, for safety, and for signaling. I hope you liked it. Please give any questions that you might have, any comments. I will go into more detail about these whistles for my Patreon subscribers, so keep your eyes peeled for that coming soon. And we'll take some measurements, and we'll take it outside so you can hear some of the differences in shrillness. So thank you guys. I hope you liked it. Please like it if you did. Please share the video. Please consider subscribing. Check out my other videos and see if you like them. I've got a ton of them that focus on the Civil War and scouting and campcraft a little bit. I hope you have a wonderful day. Give a kiss and hug to your loved ones, and take care.